A very good morning to each and everyone present here, respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, dedicated staff, honored guests, distinguished speakers, and my dear friends. My name is Danvi Mali, and I am your host for this enlightening international conference on Beyond Boundaries, Law, Science, and Technology in the Age of Innovation. A warm and special welcome to our distinguished dignitaries, guest of honor, Honorable Justice Geeta Gopi Ma'am, Judge of High Court of Gujarat. Respected Professor Dr. Mayuri Pandya, Director of GLS Law College. Professor Dr. Pratik Kanchan, Director of the School of Law, Gujarat University. Dr. Prachi Motiani, Head of the School of Law, Gujarat University. And now, before moving forward, I would like to call Pratik sir, who will give memento to our. So before giving memento, we'll do our rituals. To all faculty members of the School of Law, various law colleges, and dear students, Swagatam. Let us begin the significant event with the university song first. Please somebody start university song. Thank you.
Gujarat University apni Gujarat University apni vidya karun tapovan विश्व मानवी बनी गुजराती विश्व सकल माविल से स्नेह कंप साकार निकाले देती तू सम्मति कौना साथ में संगा दे संगति करे उन्नति प्रेम बंधुता समानता ना पल पल प्रसरे स्पंदन
Thank you so much. And now, Thank you so much. May I now request Professor Dr. Pratik Kanchan to welcome our chief guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi, with a moment. And now, I would like to request Dr. Prachi Motiani to welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Mayuri Pandya, Director of GLS Law College, with a moment. Okay. Okay. So now moving forward, it's a great honor and privilege to introduce our guest of honor, Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi, Judge of High Court of Gujarat. Before that, I'm sorry. I'm heartily sorry, Pratik sir. And we would like to call Prachi Motiani to please welcome Pratik sir with a memento. And I'm sorry for my mistake. As we said, जब कोई बड़ी चीज होनी होती है ना, तब थोड़ी बहुत चीजें इधर उधर हो जाती हैं. So it's something like that. Extremely sorry, ma'am. And now, moving forward, as I was saying, that it's a great honor and privilege to introduce our chief guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi. Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi is a distinguished luminary in the legal realm, was born on the 24th of March, 1966. So कहते हैं ना एक इतिहास रचना होता है, so that was the day. In the serene time of town of Navsari, with a commitment to academic excellence, she completed her graduation in commerce from Sir KP College of Commerce, Surat, and pursued her postgraduate degree in law from the esteemed National Devo College of Navsari. Her illustrious legal journey commenced in January 1993 when she began her practice at the District Court Navsari under the mentorship of senior advocate Shri K.P. Desai. Her dedication to the legal profession was further exemplified as she served as part-time lecturer at Dhanush Devu Law College, imparting her knowledge to budding legal minds for nearly 13 years. nearly 13 years, and in 2008, she ascended to the judicial bench as a district judge, and her impeccable service in the judiciary was marked by her presiding over an array of significant civil and criminal matters. Her expertise and meticulousness were further showcased when she presided over CBI and POTA courts as special judge, handling high-profile cases with unparalleled delicacies. Her exceptional administrative acumen was recognized when she was appointed as the registrar at the High Court of Gujarat in 2014. On the 3rd March 2020, Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi was elevated to the revered position of judge at the High Court of Gujarat. With a legacy built on decades of service, wisdom, and dedication, her judicial career continues to inspire and lead the way, guiding the legal profession with integrity and distinction. And now with that, moving forward, it's a great honor to introduce our next respected professor, Dr. Mayuri Pandya, Director of GLS Law College. Sorry. Dr. Mayuri Pandya is a professor and dean at the Faculty of Law, GLS University, Ahmedabad, with over 25 years of experience in teaching, research, and administration, specializing in environmental law, intellectual property rights, and gender equality. She holds a PhD in environmental law. Dr. Pandya has guided numerous scholars and served on prominent committees, including the Expert Appraisal Committee of the Minister of Environment. A sought-after international speaker, she has authored books and over 70 research papers and is a recipient of several prestigious awards, including the 2021 Wonder Woman Award. Okay. And now, for the welcome address, I would like to invite Prateek sir on the stage. Please, sir, come up on the stage and do the address.
Good morning, one and all. Honorable Justice Ms. Geeta Gopi, High Court of Gujarat, Ahmedabad. Professor Dr. Mayuri Pandya, GLS Law College. My faculty colleagues, Dr. Prachi, Dr. Chetna, Former Director, Professor Raval, and other members of the university system, support staff, invited guests, PhD scholars, and students. This particular event spanned over 2 days, one physical and one online, talks about the boundaries between law, science, and technology in this age of innovation. Although speaking, law, science, and technology appear to be three different arrows in three different directions. But ever since IT and information technology has taken over this world in the last 25 years of this century, we are almost 1/4 of the century is over. We were talking about the 21st century in the previous century, and now that century is also over by 25 years. And we have been taken over completely by technology. We can organize this whole conference completely online. Just to really have an impact and to have the real feeling, we need to have it physical, because there is nothing which can replace the physicality of a particular event. Then comes the case of law. Law as such is opposite of the word wall. Wherever there is a wall, there will not be a law. And if you remove the walls, law will play a role. And that is happening since time immemorial, when even legal scriptures were not written. Science is something which talks about hypothesis, testing, and finally proving it or disproving it. So there were people who thought that what can be a merger between law, science, and technology. Actually speaking, it has always been a merger. Always it has been existing. Only thing is that the intensity and the depth of this interaction was never felt and realized. Only in this century, with the role of information technology and currently in the last 5 years, the role of artificial intelligence has actually generated a more compact and more cohesion between these three disciplines. I'm sure in the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, a lot of deliberations in the form of sessions, in the form of special presentations and papers, we will come up with something concrete where these three areas of law, science, and technology can actually help in realizing innovation in the way it should mention and benefit the common people of the society. I once again congratulate School of Law to organize it, think about it, and make it happen. Thank you very much. I welcome one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I would like to call Dr. Prachi Motiani to give us an introduction on the theme of this conference.
Respected Honorable Miss Justice Geeta Gopi, Chief Guest of this inaugural session. Respected Honorable Professor Dr. Mayuri Pandya, Dean Faculty of GLS Law College. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Nija Gupta, Gujarat University in absentia. Dr. Piyush Patel, Registrar, Gujarat University in absentia. Professor Dr. Pratik Kanchan, In charge Director, School of Law, Gujarat University. Professor Dr. K.C. Rawal, former Director, School of Law, Gujarat University. Professor Dr. Jyoti Parikh, Head Department of Computer Science Department, Gujarat University. My colleague, Dr. Chetna Gujet, Dr. Jitendra Nilani, Registrar, Gujarat Biotechnological University, Professor Dr. Akhil Syed, and all the esteemed dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, a very good morning to one and all. It is my honor and privilege to introduce the theme of the conference, Beyond Boundaries, Law, Science and Technologies in the Era of Innovation. We all know that the life we are living today, it's the combination, it's a convergence of the law, science and technology. When there is an innovation, always there is a requirement for the ethical consideration. Always there is a need for the law to regulate those innovations. As per the Global Innovation Index 2024, which is released by WIPO, India is ranked 39th globally, which reflecting a growing investment in research and innovation field. India is also among the top 12 biotech destinations in the world, which ranks all over Asia the third rank. As per the latest data, India is going to achieve $150 million investment in the biotech industry in the year 2025. In such a way, I can say that India is progressing towards the science and technology. But certainly, when we are progressing towards the science and technology, definitely there are certain benefits as well as there are certain threats also. Nowadays, after the COVID, we are witness nowadays on the mobile phone, whenever we are calling somebody, we are listening the caller tune. અત્યારે બધાના મોબાઈલમાં કોલર ટ્યુન આવી રહી છે whenever આપણે કોલ કરીએ છીએ. It's just a public awareness from the government side because of the threat of cyber crime. In the era of artificial intelligence, anything can be possible. Nowadays, such kind of the crimes are also there. That's why government also has taken the proactive step to aware the public with the help of the scholar tune. So, in this technological era, with the help of the AI, the fake videos can be generated of your family members also. The audio also can be, voice audio also can be generated. So in a such a way, there are the lots of threats that the people can suffer. And that can be regulated with the boundaries of the law. And here the actual role of the law comes. The convergence of the law, science, and technology, it compels us to reimagine the area of the law in this modern complexities, which requires definitely the certain transformation in the legal regime, where it is the ethical implications of the AI, if I take, or whether I talk about the regulations of the biotechnology, or if I talk about the issues of the piracy in the digital world. So the safeguarding of the privacy in the digital age, also each of these issues demands the interdisciplinary approach. And for that, definitely the law also should be in a such a way which demands the interdisciplinary approach also for the law, which can regulate the whole together. And this is our theme also of today's conference. So law also has to go beyond boundaries for the traditional legal framework. So I welcome you all in the International Conference of the Beyond Boundaries, Law, Science and Technology. Once again, thank you so much for coming. I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful words. And now I would like to invite Dr. Mayuri ma'am to address the audience and share insights of today's seminar.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 namo namah. I bow down to Vidya Shakti, present in one and all present over here. Honorable Miss Justice Geeta Gopi ma'am, Honorable Director of the in charge Director of the Department of Law, Gujarat University, Pratik sir, the convener of the event, Professor Madam, and our bright alumnus, Prachi ma'am, respected Akil sir, respected. There are so many known faces that I see here. Backside, I can see Shehnaz ma'am from Navsari. I can see Akil sir here. Amit Kashyap is here. The former director of the law school, Raval sir, is here. I can see Rakesh sir here, Jyoti ma'am here. So first of all, thank you Prachi ma'am for inviting me. So I'm indirectly meeting Leelani sir and all of them at a one place. Otherwise, we don't meet frequently. I'm very happy that the department is the name of the department. If you have noticed the invitation, ladyship, department is constitutional law and legal order. Adoption of the Constitution of India, we all are celebrating the 75th year. And the law day on 26th November from 24 to 25, the entire year, the Constitution of India, its adoption, we will complete the 75 years, and most of all the law schools are celebrating that. and very thoughtful of Prachi Ben and the entire team and Pratik sir, that the theme of today's international conference, Beyond Boundaries, Law, Science, and Technology. One of the fundamental duty under the Constitution of India, we all are the citizen of India, and one of the fundamental duty of every citizen of this country under 51A subclause H to develop the scientific temper. So it is the duty of every one of us. So I congratulate Prachi Ben to remind the fundamental duty in this 25th year of the adoption of the Constitution, and to talk the contemporary, the law, science, and the technology. A big round of applause for the Prachi ma'am. And I'm proud to say that she is our alumnus. She is GLS alumnus. The topic, she said that, ma'am, you have to speak for 15 minutes. So my 15 minutes starts now. I will not keep any boundary. Being a law teacher for last 26 years, the one thing that whenever we go to any of the places, any public place, or when we speak, we always say that the law governs from cradle to grave. Everything you do, law is omnipresent. But today I'm compelled to say that science is also the omnipresent. Otherwise, our existence is in question. If one. Another is that if we talk for this particular century, in this century, if we don't talk for the technology, so the law, science, and technology, if you see the National Education Policy 2020, there are two most important aspects, leadership under the NEP 2020. The one is that it is the duty of every educational institution to inculcate, irrespective of the discipline, to inculcate the culture and the morality and the values of the Constitution. One. And second emphasis under the NEP has been given for the, say, earlier we used to talk for the interdisciplinary. Now NEP is talking for the multidisciplinary. So this is the classic example that the theme of this international conference, law, science, and technology, in this age of innovation. That means it is accepted. I will justify the title. It is accepted that this is an age of innovation. We accept it. And in this age of innovation, how the law, science, and technology, what the role of law? Is the law science? Is law science? Good morning to everybody. Good morning to everyone. I hope everybody is mentally present over here. Is law science? Then how will you differentiate the science and law? What is the basic point of distinction that we make?
We can change the law, but we cannot change the science.
Excellent. You cannot change because, say for example, this is Newton's law. You cannot change that. But when science come up, when discovery come up, and that discovery is translated to any of the intangible thing, and when there is a technology that comes up, then law has to respond to that, and law has to play a very vital role in that. Like somebody previously mentioned about the mobile. So your morning starts with, hey, good morning, Siri. And Siri answer you everything. When you're driving, you say, Siri, call my hubby, call my son, call my daughter. And we experience from the science, the technology that we experience every second and every moment of our life. Everything we do, we are surrounded by technology. Formally, we are not aware. Formally, like people like me, who are law people, maybe I'm not aware that much of science or technology, but I'm surrounded by the thousands of technology each day. I pay, there are platforms, I pay the payment, Google Pay. You have the Bheem, you have the UPI, you have the credit cards. The credit cards now you just tap it. You need to have a limit, otherwise, it's dangerous. So when you open your mobile, you have the face recognition. In some of the apps, you keep the face recognition, even for opening of your mobile also. For your bank online transactions, you keep the facial recognitions. So all this technology day in and day out, Swiggy, Blinkit, Zomato, Instamart, you name, your life is surrounded by technology everywhere. Uber, you go anywhere and Uber and the fantastic GPS system that works, but unfortunately at times the technology fail also. Recently, you know what happened, right? There was a death because of this technology. If you talk for the biotechnology, if you talk for the latest scientific developments, it also needs to address everything you need to address with law. Law is omnipresent. You're surrounded by everything which, by one or the another way, you are subjected to technology and science. And in response to that, let's say, for example, the female foeticide, the problem what we talk of. We came up with a law also, PCP-NDT Act. That is also, we were compelled to come up with the PCP-NDT Act. That was also because of the technology. Because of that technology, you can find out what is the gender of. And when you know the gender, the problem arises. And that is required to address with the help of the law. And we enacted the law. When we take up any of the examples of technology and the science, no doubt innovations today, and especially in this era when the Honorable Prime Minister of the country is saying that the Stand Up India, Make in India, and the way the entire, the startup culture we find in all the universities and around, there are a number of legal challenges that we need to address. And we are trying to address. So for example, you talk for the Prachiman said for the cyber crimes. You know, there are a number of ransom attacks. The latest one of 2023, the AIIMS Medical College in Delhi. AIIMS is a very famous this thing. And in 23, there was a ransom attack, right? So the question of the privacy of the patient data, the problem, because everything is every data is in the system. And if that system crashes, what about how to deal with that patient, that the entire history, everything is now online. The data is online. What about our privacy when, like, we are very happy with the UPI, we are very happy with the Aadhaar, we are happy with the Chandrayaan, we are very happy with the whatever the technological inventions the Bharat has done, we are happy, but at the same time, there are many legal challenges, threats that are also coming in our way. And we are trying our level best to address. We means the government is also trying the level best. But this is the time, as the NEP says, that the multidisciplinary, because for example, you talk for the climate change. For climate change also, the recent 2024 judgment of the Supreme Court, it is recognized that the climate change free environment is the integral part of Article 21, right to life. Now, if you want to, the mitigation is very important for the protection of the climate change. And now for the mitigation, technology is the answer. When you talk for the environmental sustainability, you have to talk for the renewable energy, how the technologies help into that for the environmental sustainability. And when that technology helps, how we can address with the help of the law. I feel the only country in this world who the people themselves, see, the pollution-free environment is our fundamental right. It's an interpretation given by the judiciary. But there is a fundamental duty under the part of the fundamental duty part, that it shall be the duty of every citizen also to preserve and conserve the environment and the living being. Now but the duty, 900 Dutch people, they went to, it's a very famous case, wherein it's a judgment of 2015. The court, that particular question came up before the European Human Rights Court. And they said that the government should take steps to curb the emission of the gases, greenhouse gases, and they should reduce it to 25%. This was 900 people in Dutch. They came up with this particular cause. The question is that whatever the issues, whatever the mitigation is very important for the climate change. There also the role of the science, there also the role of the technology, and the problems that we need to address being law. We need to take into consideration. For example, you take the example of the T. Godavaram. There's a series of cases. Without the remote sensing, how the courts, even the Supreme Court or for matter, the National Union Tribunal, without the science and technology, how they could found that there is deforestation or there are certain problems relating to the forest produce and all that. But with the help of the remote sensing, they could find it out. And rest, the lot of directives are given by the apex court of the country. The point is, whether we talk for the cybercrime, whether we talk for the climate change, whether we talk for our day-to-day routines, with all the development in this age of innovation, there are increasing legal issues and the legal problems which we need to address, and we need to address with, say, as multidisciplinary approach that we need to develop. The only one thing that I will end my speech with, that the multidisciplinary approach is very essential. If you see the Water Act, if you see the Air Act, say for example, it talks for the COD, BOD. How do you know? So you need the technical and there is the combination of the scientist, combination of the technology people, and then you need to address, you need to frame that kind of policies and that kind of laws which are multidisciplinary and we can address actually the problem is. Again, thank you Prachi ma'am for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayuri ma'am, for coming and enlightening, giving us all your remarkable thoughts. And of course, it's an honor for us to have you here. And with that, without taking much time, it's honor to all of us that we have our judge over here, Geeta Gopi ma'am. So I would like to invite Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi ma'am to share your thoughts on today's international conference.
Till morning, so I'll say good morning to you all. Yeah. Before addressing all of you, I know when a student is before a teacher has to be respected. Among the audience, one of them is the person who had assessed me in my Viva in Masters. So respected Raval sir. That was in Masters of Law. Professor Raval, Dr. Raval had come down to Navsari to assess me. And after that assessment, I'm here, sir. So thank you very much. Addressing and respecting all Professor Dr. Pratik Kanchan, Dr. Prachi Muthiani, dear friend, Professor Dr. Mayuri Pandya, and my friends from my court, both of you, Siddharth, faculty members, students, and all the attendees. Well, the topic, as said by Dr. Mayuri Pandya, is rightly selected. Say, beyond boundaries, law, science, and technology. For me, and for you also, there is never any boundary. We all want to go beyond boundaries. If I will tell you, okay, please listen to me, you would first of all would like to, who are you to tell me? That thought will come. I can listen to. See, you want to go beyond that. In your classroom, when a professor, when the lecturer comes and says, "Bhai, just listen to me, pay attention," the first thing you will do is to look out. See what I'm trying to say. You want to go beyond. So don't draw the boundaries. So what is there beyond boundaries? In law, in science and technology, where we are going with all the new innovations. Friends, as it is said by Dr. Raval, the science does not change, but law regulates. So law is not static. It regulates everything. It has to regulate. Because beyond boundary, there is a boundary. Beyond boundary, there is a boundary. Boundary of law. You cannot do things which hurt human beings. Remember this. The universe runs for the human. And for me, if someone will tell me what is patriotism or nationalism, I'll say it is humanism. For me, it is that. To serve human is nationality. I will not achieve anything by affecting any other human or hurting any other. No achievement is good if you hurt other human beings. All the development in science, in law, in technology, it is all for the welfare of the human. So these are the boundaries. The first basic boundary is you cannot hurt any human being in any of your development. So now you have to set yourself thinking, then what would be my boundary? If I have to develop in law, or say in future, if I have to be a lawyer, or a teacher, professor in law, or a judge, what is that which I have to do? How should I serve the humanity? What would be my boundaries? That is what you are going to learn. For me, friends, what I have learned through law throughout, I was a student, then being a advocate, then being in a district judiciary, and now in High Court, I have found that the two powerful words given by Mahatma, truth and non-violence, is governing the world. I know that. Truth and non-violence. See, all of you. Non-violence means there should not be any violence anywhere. So for that, we are regulating human being by introducing penal codes. Violence koi jagah par. Without violence also you can achieve. And we want truth everywhere. खोटी वस्तु की कोई वस्तु न चाहे. See what I'm saying? So what are you proving in the court of law? You're proving truth only, no? What is truth? The amalgamation of all the facts, you're trying to find out truth. And you are punishing those who are violent. See, you're punishing those who are violent. So these are the two things, these are the two words which is regulating everything. Just imagine, if you just put it in your practice also, you will find out this. This is what I have learned. You may differ, but this is the only thing. And I was just wondering how Mahatma, only with these two words, could achieve the best freedom of our country, of the world, without any shed of blood. તો વિચાર તો કરો કે આપણે આઝાદી લીધી છે લોહી બહાવા વગર. That's not the history of other countries. And we don't want to even, at present, we don't even want to remember Mahatma. But if I'll ask you about anything about Mahatma Gandhi, you will fail to tell me. Well, you will know everything about Sundar Pichai and Elon Musk and everything. Why? Why is it so? We are not finding faults with you, I'm telling you also. A generation X, I'm from generation X. I'm talking to generation Z, in generation Beta. See this? And how do we expect in generation Beta to think of all the things which Mahatma had done? As Sundar Pichai says, this is a critical year. 2025 is a critical year. Why? Because we are talking of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. See, the word used is artificial. Intelligence is there, but it is all artificial. In 1954, they wanted to give this word cybernetics to this concept. Cybernetics, not artificial. Artificial intelligence is a poor choice of word. You do believe, no? What is this? By artificial, and that also intelligence is artificial. At that time, someone coined up the word, say it is cybernetics. But that was not accepted because the person who said that word was not liked by anyone. See the word cybernetics and artificial intelligence. But for me, I thought no, it is very good that this word would remind us, everyone, that this is artificial. Your intelligence which you are using now, which you would be using it for your life, is artificial. Then it's an apt word. The expression used is very much apt, that intelligence which you are going to use, which you would be using, is artificial. Like, for example, when I was reading all these things about Elon Musk and Sundar Pichai, I was like thinking that technology has developed so much in a way that the thing which we consider as a luxury in Generation X, mobile calculators was also a luxury at that time. I'll give you one example of calculator, which I recall. I had a subject statistics in Standard 12, and we were allowed to use that calculator. And my mummy got wild. Saying કે મેં આટલી બધી મહેનત કરી છે તમને એમ કે આંકડા શીખવાડવા બાબા અને કોઈ શું પૂછે તમારે એમ કે મારી બધી મહેનત તો પાણીમાં ગઈ. I told her કે ભાઈ મને સ્ટેટિસ્ટિક્સ માં કેલ્ક્યુલેટર લઈને બેસવા માટે અંદર છે પરિસ્થિતિ. She got wild. I wasted a lot of my time behind you all teaching you maths. See this? So the thing which was a luxury for us have now become a necessity for you. See, Generation X, a luxury, has become a necessity for Generation Z. You cannot go without your mobile. You cannot go without your laptop. You cannot go without Uber. The technology, because you want instantly, you should step out and Uber should be there for you. So while reading all this, I felt that if artificial intelligence is going to be your style of living, that means it would come in your day-to-day function, artificial intelligence. Then human intelligence would be a luxury. Got it? We'll try to search human intelligence then, because everything is there using the artificial intelligence. Like some people were saying, one of the student or lawyer said, Madam, you just put a question and you get the whole answer. Why should we study all these books? Oh my. And then I was thinking, what about all the studies which we had done? Then in that phase, if you are going to use artificial intelligence, I would say human intelligence future would be a luxury. Because you are going to search for human intelligence. Is it not so?
Yes.
And you will see that our emotions all will drive us towards humanity only. And at that time, when everything is of digitalization, technology, even the mop, which we are having that machine for the mopping also. Then I'm waiting for that time when you will think that human intelligence would be a luxury. Anyway, talking about law. Well, we say that beyond boundaries, law, science, and technology of age of innovation. In India, we had Information and Technology Act in the year 2000. 2000. We're talking now in 2025. Still, we are struggling to understand how to put a pace with the development of technology. See, provisions are there. The amendments 2023, new laws as it has come, we say, na, by Navana Bhartiya Suraksha Sanhita, Nyaya Sanhita, Sakshi Sanhita 2023. We found certain changes, not more. Substantial change, there is nothing. I found that a few of the sections have been grouped up together and one section has been formed. There are very minor changes, not much, which I wanted, I expected. It was not there. Now, with this amendment, with those amendments which are there in these three provisions, whether we would be in a position to attain the boundaries which future is going to bring. laws are made in 2023, we are talking in 2025, and then we are thinking of all the AI which is going to come later on. Whether these laws which have been made in 2023 would suffice that development. So there has to be amendment everywhere. And how those amendments would be brought. See, why we brought all these new laws? Because we want to do away from the colonial laws. That was only the aspect. કે ભાઈ આપણે લોકોને બ્રિટિશ રૂલ્સ ના બધા કાયદા નથી જોઈતા. We want everything Indian. Can we talk of everything Indian now? When in 1991, we had talked about free economy and we had gone for LPG. LPG, you know, no full form, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. We allowed our economy to compete with the global world. 1991. We saw all the money coming. Lot of money is there. Like for example, when we were student, તો અમે બે કપડાથી ચાલી જતું હતું. ત્રીજો ડ્રેસ તો અમારા માટે luxury. The third dress was a luxury for us. Can you all think about that, about your wardrobe? Away? Going everyone. Nothing was there. Like suppose on the third day also, if I wore the same dress, no one would comment also. Now we cannot. Oh my God, my wardrobe, I'm just thinking I'm wasting money in all these things. But I have to wear it. See this competition. In the same way, when technology develops, you have to go with that pace. Now, as we know that just as the technology develops, the mind of an individual also develops. At the same time, corrupt mind also develops. Criminals. I've seen criminals thinking ahead of law. કાયદો બને શું બને એ પહેલા તો એ ગુનો કરી બેસે છે. કાયદો તો પછી બનશે, ગુનો તો એ કરી રાખે છે હમણાં. અરે man, we are not in a position to cope with this offense. Think of it. And during that period of development of law, bringing amendment, in pace with the crime, lot of things goes away. Lot of things goes away. The culprit will be out because the law is not in place. Culprit will be out. We want to draw that boundary. And we are thinking of beyond boundaries. We have to see that no criminal runs away from the court of law, from the boundaries of. That is what we want to think. So, laws should be in progress ahead of time. Ahead of time. And who are going to do that? Is human mind competent to do that? કાયદો કેવી રીતે લાવશો? કારણ કે, for example, if I or you have to think, we think all positive only. Nothing negative comes in our mind. So lawmakers cannot think of anything negatives. And we cannot allow criminals to sit in our committees. We cannot allow criminals to sit in our committees. Criminals તો કહેવાય નહીં કે તમે ઇનપુટ્સ આપો જરા, અમારે કાયદો બનાવવાનો છે. See, going to bats, you have to march, no, for that. Oh, that can be done. So always we see in court of law, accused are ahead of the law. So how to plug that loophole? And how can we think of extra miles to defend all those things? So we the human, we the mind, developing laws should think beyond all that boundaries. Then only we can give a very safe world to the future. Always remember all the students sitting over here. For me to come in this world is to serve the world. આ દુનિયાની સેવા કરવા માટે આપણે આવ્યા છીએ, આપણા માટે નહીં. If you cannot serve this humanity, then forget about your own self also. Ultimately, what? Everything is for human. If there is no human being in the world, what are we fighting for then? So what we do today is for the future generation. So what we are doing today is for you all. And what you would do would be for the future. So all the responsibility, all that is on your shoulder now. How the world we are dreaming, what we want in our future generation. Always remember that a generation should not find faults in the earlier generation. કે અમારા બાપ દાદા આ બધું કરી ગયા. આપણા ઘરમાં તો એવું જ બોલાયા. તમે જો if you have some issues in your family, જવા દે રે, અમારા દાદા લોકો આ બધું તકલીફ મૂકીને ગયા છે. They will not talk about the hardship they had gone through. If a child who is not given a mobile at home, he will start finding faults with the parents. It was not with our generation. We were happy with what was given by our parents. We were very much happy. We never demanded. Ask anyone else. We are from Generation X. We never demanded anything. While you will demand. You all are demanding people. આ આપો, તે આપો, ગાડી આપો, એમને એમ ન જવાય કોલેજમાં. અમે તો ચાલીને જતા હતા. બહુ તો બસ પૈસા, બહુ તો 10 પૈસા, 25 પૈસા બસની ટિકિટ લઈને નીકળી જવાનું. You would not go. Why so? Just question yourself. Why so? But then, I have found examples, many of them. You have gone in this competitive corporate sectors. They are returning back to the villages. Why? Have you heard many of them returning back from America? Yes. And doing the agriculture work? Why so? Why it is so? Because they are fed up of this competition. You cannot face this competition. Whether you want to fall or keep yourself in this competitive world, or you want to do something on your own that your work would contribute in the development of the world. You think of that. All of you. તમારે કંઈક એવું કરવું છે, જાતે જેથી કરેલું તમારું કરેલું કાર્ય આ દુનિયાને મદદ થાય એવું છે કે મારે કોઈના કોમ્પિટિશનમાં ઉતરવું છે તે વિચારી લેવાનું. I don't think a competition is necessary. You yourself on your own can develop. You yourself on your own can contribute. A single person can make a change. So don't think of all these competitions. When you આમાં સ્ટડીઝમાં પણ હોય ને તો પેલી કેમ આગળ નીકળી ગઈ, પેલો કેમ આગળ નીકળી ગઈ, એ જોવાની જરૂર નથી ભાઈ. તમે વાંચો ને તમે શું લખો છો, તમે કેવી રીતે કરો છો, એ પ્રમાણે એસેસમેન્ટ થશે. And as per the assessment, whatever grades you get a chance and opportunity to contribute in the world. This is only we can do for you. We can give you opportunities, nothing more. Everything you have to do. Got it what I'm saying? We can make you a good citizen. We can teach you good laws. What are laws? But then you have to grab the opportunity. And you have to contribute. Like in fundamental right, the very precious right is equality before law and equal protection of law. આખું કોન્સ્ટિટ્યુશન હું વાંચું ને તો મને એક જ આર્ટિકલ 14 ગમે રાવલ સાહેબ. Article 14. Equality before law and equal protection of law. Before law, girls and boys are all equal. Male and female are same. Then why we are talking of equal protection of law when we both are same? Why we are talking, right? Why we need protection of law when we are saved? Why we need protection of law when we are saved? People say, most of them, when I was teaching in law college, male students used to say, કે આ બહુ બધા કાયદા સ્ત્રીઓ માટે છે. સ્ત્રીઓને ફેવર કરતા બહુ બધા કાયદા છે. Anyone is there? ઊંઘ આવે છે? સ્ત્રીઓને મદદ કરતા કે બહુ બધા કાયદા છે. અને મેં કીધું કે ના, એવું નથી. એવું નથી. જે સ્ત્રી પરણીને એના મેટ્રિમોનિયલ હાઉસમાં જાય, she is going there. He is all alone there. Unless the atmosphere in the family is all good, lovable, protective, acceptive, she is protected. But if it goes against her, then what is the protection she gets? She gets protection only by law. So that is equality. See, listen. That is equality. When we talk of the male husband in the house, when we talk of the woman, the wife in the house, she is protected. She is on the equal pedestal only with the help of the law. Otherwise, she is here. See this. So equality before law, and law is saying that you are getting equal protection of law. Equal protection of law. So 498A should be there. Of course, misuse is also there. But that can be curtailed. That can be curtailed. By judgments, by orders. Why not? So when you are talking of equality before law, you need protection. You need protection for women. You need protection for scheduled castes. You need for ST and children. Some of you will find that there is a discrimination because some reservations are there for SC and SC. People talk about that when you are, competing, and when you are going for an admission and all, you will generally talk about the શું ચાલે છે. અને equality કહેવાય. But friends, just imagine an ST and ST student who is staying in a far away, remote village. We do not have a commuting facility, no bus. And we are saying right to education is there. And the father is not in a position to give him even money for the bus tickets. Don't you think that child has the right of education, and for that state has to provide? State has to provide. તમે આપો ને એને બસમાં આવવાની જગ્યા. ચલો નહીં તો બસ તો પેલું પાસ આપી દો કે જેથી કરીને he can go to the college, attend the classes. If not, if we cannot have fees, pay the fees or give concession in fees. This is equality, right? And then after having attended the college, after the examination, after getting the degree, then you have to compete. Then again, there is an issue. If you allow them to compete with the general categories, what would happen? That person without any resources, without any influence, without any background, whether he is in a position to compete with that general category student. So certain reservations are to be made. Like, for example, we women are asking for 33% reservation since long. See, we are not finding a place in our legislative assembly. We want equal voice. Don't you think it's a right? It should be given. Equal voice, right, is to be given. And when we talk about equality before law and equal protection of law, then voice also should be equal. To formulate the laws, to create the laws, to build the laws. And the government says, yes, 33% we are giving, but only after 5 years. So we are just waiting કે 5 વર્ષ ક્યારે ખતમ થાય અને 2028 માં અમને કઈ રિઝર્વેશન નો લાભ મળે. I'm just out of. So friends, yet I was talking about Article 14. So now what is the boundary? Article 16 says no discrimination, that is there. Article 19 I like. If you read properly, when I was teaching, my students used to say, કે સાહેબ એક હાથથી આપે છે ને એક હાથથી લઈ લે છે એમ કે Article 19 when a student એક હાથથી આપે છે ને એક હાથથી લઈ લે છે એમ કે because their article says about reasonable restrictions. Every right comes with a restriction which is considered to be reasonable. Yeah, be. And what is it? So who is going to decide? If you read, no, if you are giving the right to speak, then you have to speak with decency. You have to speak with morality. You cannot say anything against public order. You cannot say anything for the safety of the country. ભાઈ એટલે બી છૂટ નથી મળતી તમને કઈ બી મને અહીંયા બોલવાની છૂટ મળી છે doesn't mean I can speak anything. See what I'm saying? So what is that boundary which you have to keep? What is that boundary which you have to keep? That reasonable restriction is your boundary. And if you go beyond, of course you can. But then that provision is also there. 368 છે કે ભાઈ amendment લાવો બંધારણમાં and go. We see certain amendments are coming in the constitution also. You are asking your rights from the state. Government પાસે માંગો છો ને. Telling the government, see, listen, I have my right of religion. તેમાં વચ્ચે નહીં પડવાનું. સરકારને આપણે ના પડીએ છે. I have a right for my privacy. Please don't interfere. And I have a right for my personal laws. Please don't interfere, state. If anyone comes and says ke tamara garma in your house you have to stay in particular way or you have to make prayers in a particular way, you will not accept. But this is my house. This is my world. But then in that world, if you are abusive, if you are violent, law will not accept. See 498A, 304B, domestic violence. No. The law is, all the laws are there to protect the woman who is all alone in your matrimonial house. So that is equality, bhai. Don't say that it is there, excessive laws are there for protection of the woman. Because men are being violent and we are talking that there should not be any violence. We are talking of non-violence. And I cannot fight against you with all your muscles, against all your muscles. તમે તો આમ ઊભા થઈ જાઓ મારવા માટે. See? 498A, physical violence is there. What am I going to do against your violence in my house? You have brought me here. And if I don't have that provision of against your cruelty, 498A, how am I going to survive in your house? And apart from them, what has happened now, I was not really willing to talk about this, but now it has come. Domestic Violence Act gives protection to you, a woman, against all the violence. The violence no least bo motu છે. If you read the law, when the law came in force, I was like, flabbergasted, saying, આટલો બધો violence થાય છે. આટલો મોટું list. Emotional violence will be there. Violence for not giving you money. Violence, many violence. Abuse, emotional abuse. The list is long. And then you say you don't need protection. Now, this Domestic Violence Act gives you right for residence from the husband. At least in the matrimonial home, you can demand a separate space. And the orders would be that you can stay in this room and your husband or family members would not enter. This is the protection which is given. But at the same time, Hindu Succession Act, Section 23 has been removed. The right of residence has been removed from the act itself. You cannot reside in your parental home as of right during this matrimonial disputes or even after divorce. Just imagine the difficulty of a woman. And then we are talking of technology. The one latest, I found one lady. I had a case in my court, and one lady, she recorded everything of her husband in the mobile. She places in the court of law saying, see, these are the abuses, the violence which was committed by me. The judge was not ready to put that in evidence, saying, no, this is, I cannot become without 65B certificate. How is the lady to bring that 65B certificate? Then I wrote the law. I wrote the law saying that this is a primary evidence, mobile. You can check the Hayes value if you want to. Even Family Court Act says, no, you need not go into extraordinary provision of Evidence Act. You can put it in evidence. You don't have to go as by Evidence Act in these family laws. So I said that also. And further I said that the voice were recorded in the mobile. I said that man is before you only, before the judge. The trial is between two parties. You are giving your deposition in the court. The husband is also giving a deposition in the court. The judge is hearing him. The first hand evidence is before the judge himself to compare the voice of the husband in the mobile and the court of law. I said, this is already available to you. And I wrote that this kind of evidence would be admissible. So this is technology. I'm talking of technology. When you are saying that you are going beyond the boundaries, why shouldn't this kind of technology be used in the court of law? The magistrate, judicial magistrate said, no, it's okay. So you have a right to challenge that. And before a high court, the high court has to go in a wider space and has to lay down the law saying, yes, it has to be acceptable. Now this, I thought I'm writing this for the future generation also. I'm not writing for that lady. I'm writing it for the future generation also. I want to establish a law because I don't want any of these things to be rejected by the court of law. So before anything, what you do, you have to think a lot. Like I said in Article 19, reasonable restrictions are there. Public morality, dignity, we are talking. We talk of law and order. There are three spectrums, if we say law and order, public order, and safety of the state. Anything, an act which comes in say it is a breach of law and order, may not be a breach of public order. Right? Like a dispute between neighbors. It's a question of law and order. So, pelo 170 mu CRPC lagawi, 107 mu CRPC lagawi na pelo executive magistrate rupo par case chali jaya. Ana pelo executive magistrate ke examine api do. There may be cases of public order also, which may not be inferred as against the security of the state. So that man would be extradited from a place. The collector will pass an order. He would be in a PASA or something like that. So that restriction will be there. But any offense against the state, security of the state, whether it could be tolerable, any offense against the security of the state, whether it could be tolerable, no, it has to be strictly dealt with. No man, no person can breach the peace of my country. This is there. So state will definitely say, you have all the rights, but he cannot say anything against the safety of the country or cannot do anything against the safety of the country. In the same way, a neighbor would say, okay, this is a matter of law and order. You have that right. You go before the executive magistrate. Public order, you go before the collector. And if it is more of violence, you go before the police also. You can file case under IPC. So these are the things which we are going ahead with. Like Microsoft Windows 10. I think the last date is some 14th of October 2025. And Microsoft is, examining is the health of the PC. If it would be matching the AI or not. It should come in 2025. It cannot lag behind in technology. Microsoft. So now they are testing all this AI technology. It has to be fit in, otherwise who is going to accept that program? Windows 11. People say that AI, in America, people would say Indians, they only know to manage things. They do not know to create things. I don't know, we cannot accept that. We Indians are going there in America to create things only, but we are in a position to manage because we are not giving the help of the place. But that's not a good example. The head of the Perplexity, Arvind Srinivas, he's the head of this CEO of this AI. So Indians can do. સાહેબ સવારના શબ્દ બોલે જુગાડુ. Indians are most જુગાડુ person. તમે અમને આપો અને અમે બનાવીને આપીએ. તમે કઈ મૂકો તો ખરા, અમે આખું ચિત્રી કાઢશું તમારા માટે. We can do it. Even an agriculturist or a farmer who is not attended school, તમે જોજો, એને ટ્રેક્ટર આપો ને, તેના ટ્રેક્ટર હોય જાત જાતનું કરી નાખશે. એમ થાય કે he has not learned any engineering. How is it doing? But then all the laws says that it has all reasonable restrictions. Now friends, how much minute I have? One more point I have. Now, Constitution says that there are restrictions in all these freedoms. Freedom of speech, association, assembly, this and that. The state controls your freedom. Then what is it that you want from the state? State to tamara par બધા control લગાવી દે. And then you also expect something from the state. State has to do something for me. What is my expectation from the state? The state said, yes, we will fulfill your expectation provided it is legitimate. તમારી અપેક્ષાઓ અમે સંતોષશું, પણ કાયદેસર હોવી જોઈએ. ગેરકાયદેસર વસ્તુ તો તમે સ્ટેટ પાસે માંગી નહીં શકો. તમે તો મા પાસે કે પપ્પા પાસે પણ નહીં માંગી શકો. ચપાટ પડે ધામ દેને એમ. પણ યંગસ્ટર્સ દે નો પપ્પા ને મમ્મી ને એમ કરીને કેવી રીતે નીકળી જવાનું, નહીં? In one of the movie, I saw કે ઘરમાંથી તમે મસ્ત પેલા પંજાબી ડ્રેસ પહેરીને નીકળે, બહાર જઈને બધું કાઢી નાખે ને પેલો મોડર્ન ડ્રેસ અંદરથી નીકળે. You can fool your parents also. Is it so or not? It's easy. It's very easy. That is जुगाड़ू. जुगाड़ करते हैं भाई. घर में तो पंजाबी चलता है, बाहर नहीं चलता है. बाहर तो have to be modern. I don't want to comment on all this. But girls who go with Punjabi, wherever or anywhere, or with a sari, they are also respected. Why? Respected by the knowledge. Wisdom is respected everywhere and anywhere. So girls, if you feel that I'm not beautiful or I cannot wear a lipstick, I don't want to wear a lipstick, don't mind it. You would be respected if you show your worth. Show your worth. No one can ignore you. તમે તમારો પરચમ બતાવો અને જો તમારી બધી દ્રષ્ટિ તમારા પર આવી જશે. But you have to prove it. Boys, I don't want to tell you because you can do it. But girls, I have to encourage you. Because for girls, there is nothing in this world. I'm telling you all. You have to assert your own identity. દીકરાઓને તો ઘરમાં છે ને બધી મિલકત બાપાની મળશે. કઈ નહીં આવડશે તો બાપા કહેશે કે આ ખેતીમાંથી ખાઈ લે, આ દુકાનમાંથી ખાઈ લે. ગર્લ્સ કોઈ નહીં કહેશે. If husband is good, matrimonial house is good, safe and sound, you can have a very good life. You will be very well maintained. But if you have a problem in matrimonial home, you are nowhere. You have to stand on your own foot. જાતે જ. એટલે આજકાલ તમે જોજો મા બાપ બધી છોકરીઓને ભણાવે છે. કેમ ભણાવે છે? તમે વિચાર કરો. Why that mindset has changed all of a sudden? We want to teach our girls because parents also know if something happens in future, at least her education can help her. So now we are talking about expectation from the state, legitimate expectation. Now this concept is very wide everywhere now. In court of laws, like for example, if you go in a competitive exam also, competitive exam, and you have secured say 94 percentile, a reservation is there for someone else. You are competing for in a general category. The policy of the government says, कि suppose now in general category everything has been filled up. Policy sometimes comes in a government category says that those categories of SC, ST which has not been filled up for this year can be carried out in the next year. If there is a policy, there is a policy. I'm talking again, a policy should be there. Then it will be our expectation that I should be given a place in that policy as per the policy. Would it not be there? You would approach to the court of law. At least first you will make a representation to the concerned authority saying, see, your policy says that I get a position here for my admission, say in medicine. The authority says, no, we do not believe that you as per this policy would get an admission in this quota. Where would you go? Where would you go to ask for your right? Certainly in court of law, don't you? I was just thinking of what would have been the position if courts were not there in this world. આ દુનિયામાં કોર્ટ જ ન હતો તો શું કરતે તમે લોકો વિચારો. Asserting your right, someone has to declare, no, you have this right. You are saying I'm having this right, but someone with an authority has to declare that yes, you are having this right. Now, a person against whom asking your right says no, you don't have this right. Then you need a third person to decide your right. That right you can assert or you can ask for if it is legitimate. Then you can go to the court of law. Court will read the policy. Court will decide. Decisions how they take place, that you have to learn by practice only. So that would be there. Now, legitimate expectations would be for procedural laws also. Procedural laws we expect by there should not be any arbitrariness. કોઈ પોતાની મરજીથી બધું ના કરી શકે ભાઈ. Certain set rules should be there. Now, if you go against the rules in procedures, then you have the right to go to the court of law. ભાઈ આ અમને પહેલેથી કહેવામાં આવેલું છે કે આ rules છે. How can you go against it? Now you go to the court of law, you challenge that and get it established here. I was talking of Viva. Now suppose if I attend a Viva, and all of a sudden after the Viva, attending Viva, it has been declared that rule is that only certain percentage of your examination marks should be considered as an eligibility to attend to pass the Viva. Now that has come after my attending the Viva. I was not knowing this provision. Whether I have the right to challenge it or not. Right to challenge is there. See, listen, I have a right to challenge. But whether to accept that or not, that is for the court to decide. But that right you have to challenge it. You can even go challenge the policies of the state saying, no, this is not right. This is not as per the directive principles which are there in the constitution. You can do so as an individual. So Going to Supreme Court, you have that fundamental right, Article 32. I say a greater right is there in Article 226 and 227. We can go beyond that. Come to the High Court, which is the nearest court for you. So friends, everything exists, as you say, as I've said, exists for truth and non-violence. This all things runs for humanity. So if you want to go beyond that boundary, there is a boundary for humanity. Everything you do should be for humanity. બધું માનવતા માટે જ હોવું જોઈએ. તમારું અસ્તિત્વ પર બાજુના માનવ માટેનો છે. તમારી બાજુમાં બેઠેલો માનવ માટે તમારું અસ્તિત્વ છે. સમજો. એટલે you cannot cross that boundary. You have to work for the nation, for the people of the nation, for the progress of the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And also would like to tell you, ma'am, that we have received the papers from not only India, but from Hong Kong University as well and other countries as well, so which is a proud moment as Indian. And I would like to tell one more thing. Ma'am, you mentioned about girls that we say clothes and makeups doesn't define the identity of women. So I wrote two lines on that. So please, सीरत मेरी खूबसूरत है, सूरत पे न जाना तुम. सीरत मेरी खूबसूरत है, सूरत पे न जाना तुम. चरित्र मेरा पवित्र है, इन्हें कपड़ों से मत ढांपना तुम. That's how it is.
In court of law, when with the development of progress in law, we found that in rape cases, people would put up a defense saying the woman was so characterless, the woman was so this and that. See, listen. And gradually, provision had come in the Evidence Act that if a woman comes in a court of law and says, I had not consented for this sexual relationship, then court has to believe. Why it is so? I'm joining this with the whole world. I'm joining this with motherhood. I'm joining this with motherhood, not with another things. A woman has one more precious right to say no. To say no to any man. She doesn't like that. See, if a woman, a promiscuous woman, a woman may be having relation with 10. Because she is liking that man and she is having relation. Nothing wrong. I don't know, in our Indian society, we say, okay, no, there should be some boundary, there should be some limit. But if you read our mythology, વાંચો તો ખરા દ્રૌપદીના કેટલા પત્ની હતા, પેલા કેટલા husband હતા. They had the right of choice to have 5 husbands and nothing was found wrong. Now suppose a woman having 10 relation and she doesn't want a relation with that 11th man. મારે આની જોડે સંબંધ નથી રાખવા. She has the right to say no. And she has the right to challenge that if someone has crossed the boundary. And she can come in the court of law saying that, yes, there is a rape. The only right a woman has, see, listen, the whole world is going on motherhood only. Just imagine the world where a woman would say, I don't want to be a mother. વિચારો તો ખરા એવી દુનિયા કે જ્યાં સ્ત્રી એમ કે મારે માં નથી બનવું. શું થશે? Just what would happen? There is no world at all. The women start saying, I think in some South Korea or someone, women have started that. We do not want to be a mother. અને બહુ હશે તો અમે જાતે કરી લેશું. હવે તો પુરુષની જરૂર નથી એમ કે છે. So a woman has this precious right to say no to any man. Remember this. તમારા મરજીના પુરુષ જોડે જ તમે સંબંધ રાખી શકો અને એ અધિકાર તમને હોવો જ જોઈએ અને એ અધિકાર તમે વાપરી શકો કે નહીં. પણ then men should also respect this. આપણા પુરુષોને ના સાંભળવાનું ગમતું નથી. This culture we have to develop. So listen, man has to understand this. કે woman has a right to say no and you have to respect that. આપણા બાળકોમાં છોકરાઓ જ્યારે ઉછેર થાય ને ત્યારે માં શીખવાડવાનું હોય છે કે ભાઈ સ્ત્રીઓને અધિકાર છે ના પાડવાની અને તું એની પાછળ નહીં જઈ શકે. When we are talking of law, we are talking of cyber stalking, we are talking of stalking here, voyeurism, acid attack. When people say no, અરે ભાઈ શીખો, સ્ત્રીને રાઈટ છે ના પાડવાની, કારણ કે આ દુનિયા એને ચલાવવાની છે. Motherhood has accepted our science and technology develop and man can go again. I don't know when it would come. But at least at present, this world is run by women only. But that right we have to grab it. We must say no to things which we do not like. So that strength should be there. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As we all have witnessed that Lordship is so down to earth and humble. And as a growing generation, it's so inspiring to hear from you such insightful thoughts. So thank you so much, Honorable Geeta ma'am. And now, thank you also Director of the School of Law, Gujarat University, Dr. Prateek Kanchan. And of course, thank you Honorable Justice Geeta Gopi ma'am and Dean of GLS Law College, Mayuri Pandya ma'am, for accepting the invitation of Prachi Motiani ma'am.
Before the formal vote of thanks should propose, I would like to share with you one thing. Our not only today's but honorable chief guest, Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi Madam, when I went to invite her, I went very formally. I thought I'm going to invite one of the justice of the High Court. So I went with the bouquet and all those things. So as rightly Madam said, we should think about the humanity, the manavta. Madam મને એ વખતે કર્યું, બુકેની જરૂર નથી, એ પૈસા તમે કોઈ સ્ટુડન્ટના કામમાં લાવજો. Madam is so humble to accept our invitation. And if I talk about our today's keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Mayuri Pandya Madam, special kind of the, I don't know anything about her. Special connection with her. Whenever I have anything, always I call Madam, Mare આ જરૂર છે. હું શું કરું? Madam says, I am always there with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. And behalf of the Department of Constitutional Law and Legal Order, School of Law, Gujarat University, once again, ma'am, thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
It's an honor to all of you have you here because we all know that how busy you are. So thank you so much. And now I would like to call on the stage Maulin Matkar for a vote of thanks. Maulin Matkar.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. On behalf of School of Law, Gujarat University, it's my fortune to propose vote of thanks. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the dignitaries for being part of inaugural session on International Conference Beyond Boundaries, Law, Science and Technologies in the Age of Innovation. My sincere gratitude go to the chief guest, Honorable Ms. Justice Geeta Gopi, and keynote speaker of the event, Honorable Professor Mayuri H. Pandya. To grace the occasion, ma'am, thoughts and ideas you have shared, I am sanguine that they will become a guiding beacon for budding lawyers, scientists, and technologians. A special thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Nirja Gupta, for continuous and unabated support rendered to motivate us to conduct such kind of event. I would also take this opportunity to thank our registrar, Dr. P.M. Patel, for extending his support to make this event possible. A special note of appreciation to all the directors, heads, principals, faculty members, panelists, and attendees, and students from various departments of Gujarat University and affiliated colleges for making the valuable presence and make this event of inaugural session a success. A heartfelt gratitude to Professor Dr. K.C. Raval to grace the occasion of inaugural session and giving valuable insights. A special thanks to Professor Dr. Pratik Kanchan and Dr. Prachi Motiani, as well as Dr. Chetna Bujad for organizing this conference. Once again, I thank you all for your valuable presence and making this conference a memorable event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now it's a privilege to having all of the dignitaries over here. And we'll start panel discussion in 5 to 10 minutes. So before that, we'll end this inauguration session with national anthem. So please, guys, thank you so much. So now we'll start panel discussion in 5 to 10 minutes.